Opinion: a solid start for Arsenal. Tough early tests behind us at Anfield and Old Trafford. The international break is in full swing, which means no club football this weekend. Arsenal's last outing was that painful 1-0 loss away to Liverpool a week ago. A late free kick from Dominic Szoboszlai gave the Reds a slight edge in the title race and left the Gunners chasing early ground. But let's take a step back. All things considered, Arsenal have actually had a solid start to the season, even if the general reaction to the Liverpool result might have you thinking otherwise. Some are already calling it a poor start, or saying we lacked courage at Anfield. Add in the tense performance at Old Trafford, and it's easy to see why some fans are concerned. But let's be honest, these were very tough fixtures. And if we're being fair, it's a good thing we got them out of the way early. Getting through the first big tests. Say what you will about Manchester United's recent form, they're still a tough side to face at Old Trafford. Given our track record there in recent years, Arteta will no doubt be pleased to have walked away with all 3 points. That win was crucial, and it tasted even better considering the circumstances. Looking ahead, Liverpool at Anfield might be our biggest test of the season, especially with the way City are playing right now. I'm not saying we should brush off the defeat, but having that fixture this early might actually work in our favour. Don't forget, it was that 2-2 draw at Anfield in 2023 that derailed our title charge, sparking a string of dropped points and that infamous loss to Man City. Still way too early for panic. As for the Liverpool match, yes, we weren't at our best. Some accused Arsenal of being too conservative, but in truth, both sides struggled to create clear chances. The difference came down to one moment of brilliance, not a collapse in performance. Now, there's already growing frustration around Mikel Arteta, with some questioning his decisions and calling for drastic changes. But let's keep things in perspective. It's still early days. We've added new faces to the squad, and they need time to settle in and find their rhythm. Performances haven't been dazzling, but there's every reason to believe we'll improve as the season goes on. Sure, there are areas that need immediate attention. No one's denying that. But calling for Arteta's head this early? That's an overreaction. This is a marathon, not a sprint. The foundations are there. The fight is there. Let's give this team time to grow into the season. Media reaction and fan frustration. Naturally, the media jumped on the result at Anfield. Some outlets painted it as a defining blow to Arsenal's title hopes, despite it being only September. Pundits questioned the team's mentality in big away games, while critics honed in on Arteta's tactical setup, claiming it lacked ambition. Social media, as expected, was a battleground. Some fans voiced genuine concern over our approach and lack of attacking threat, while others called for calm, recognizing the quality of the opponent and the narrow margin of defeat. It's important not to let the noise distort the reality. We were away to one of the most intimidating grounds in world football, against a Liverpool side that's clicking into gear. The game was cagey, decided by a set piece, not a tactical disaster or an emotional collapse. We weren't blown off the pitch. We were just edged out. Still, the game raised valid questions. Why did we sit so deep in the second half? Could we have been more aggressive in transition? Are we overcomplicating things in the final third? These are tactical issues that need attention, and it's on Arteta to address them. But again, it's early in the season, and there's time to make those adjustments. Integration of new signings. Another factor often overlooked in these conversations is squad integration. Several key new signings, including a revamped midfield and changes in the attacking setup, are still finding their feet. Chemistry takes time, especially in a system as detailed and demanding as Arteta's. We've seen flashes of brilliance from players like Havertz and Rice, but they're not fully settled yet. When that cohesion comes, the team will look different, more fluid, more confident, more dangerous. It's also worth noting that some injuries and rotation choices have disrupted rhythm. The backline hasn't been as consistent as last season, and there's a sense that Arteta is still searching for his strongest 11. These are growing pains, not red flags. What comes next? Looking ahead, Arsenal have a run of more winnable fixtures after the break, and that's where we'll really see the character of this squad. Dropping points in big games isn't ideal, but it won't define our season. The real title contenders are the ones who can bounce back immediately, rack up consistent wins, and show resilience when the pressure mounts. The expectations are high this season, and rightfully so. After finishing second last year, fans want to see progress, not just in results, but in maturity, adaptability, and game management. There's every reason to believe this team is on the right path, but it's a journey. Not every step will be perfect. Final thoughts. A narrow defeat at Anfield shouldn't spark a crisis. If anything, it's a reminder of how fine the margins are at the top of the Premier League. There's frustration, yes, but also perspective. The big tests are coming thick and fast, and Arsenal have shown they can hang with the best. Let's not forget how far we've come under Arteta. The standards have been raised. The mentality has shifted. One loss doesn't undo that. This team isn't finished. It's still building. And with the right support, the right tweaks, and a bit of patience, they might just go one better this time around. Arsenal, boosted by injury, return ahead of crucial Nottingham Forest clash. With another big Premier League weekend on the horizon, Arsenal fans finally have something to smile about. Leandro Trossard is back, and not a moment too soon. It's been a tough start to the season for Mikel Arteta's side, not just in terms of results, but in keeping key players fit. The injury list has been growing worryingly fast, and the recent international break didn't bring much relief. But amidst all the concern, Trossard's return feels like a small, much-needed victory. Injury woes piling up. Just before the break, the Gunners were dealt a serious blow when William Saliba limped off during the match against Liverpool. The French centre-back, such a crucial part of Arsenal's defensive backbone, is now expected to miss several important games, a massive setback for a team that relies heavily on his presence at the back. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop there. Bukayo Saka, the team star boy, and Christian Norgard are also unlikely to be fit in time for the weekend. Losing Saka, who brings constant threat and creativity down the right flank, is always painful. And with Norgard's composure and strength missing in midfield, Arsenal will need to dig deep to keep their momentum alive. Trossard's timely return could be key. But here's where the story shifts. After weeks of dealing with fitness concerns, Leandro Trossard looks ready to make his mark. He's only played 38 minutes this season, a brief cameo against Leeds, but now he seems to be turning a corner. During the international break, he was called up by the Belgian national team, a strong sign that he was nearing full recovery. Not only did he feature against Liechtenstein, but he also started against Kazakhstan, playing over an hour and, more importantly, coming through both games unscathed. According to Football London, there were no setbacks, no fresh knocks, and no lingering issues. And now, Trossard is officially available for selection this weekend. A much-needed tactical asset. Trossard's return couldn't have come at a better time for Arteta. Known for his intelligence, movement, and technical ability, he offers something different in the final third, whether starting out wide or drifting centrally. He's one of Arsenal's most versatile attacking weapons, able to link play, score goals, and create chances out of nothing. With injuries forcing Arteta to shuffle the deck, having Trossard available again gives the manager more flexibility and depth, two things the squad desperately needs right now. And for a team still chasing rhythm and form, that extra spark off the bench, or possibly even from the start, could make all the difference. Final thoughts. The road ahead is still long, and Arsenal will need to navigate it without several of their stars. But in moments like this, the return of a player like Trossard feels bigger than it looks on paper. It's not just about minutes or stats, it's about momentum, belief, and having one more soldier back on the field. And right now, that's exactly what the Gunners need. A glimmer of stability amidst the chaos. While the return of Trossard is certainly encouraging, it doesn't change the fact that Arsenal remain in the middle of a mini-injury crisis. The spine of the team is being tested early in the campaign, and that could have serious implications in the weeks ahead. Saliba's absence, in particular, casts a long shadow. It was his injury last season that coincided with Arsenal's late-season collapse. Without him, the defense lost its composure and leadership, and Arteta was forced into makeshift solutions that simply didn't hold up under pressure. Losing him again, especially with tricky fixtures approaching, is a major concern. With Gabriel Magalhaes and Ben White now expected to shoulder more responsibility at the back, squad depth becomes even more critical. And that's where players like Jakub Kiwior and Takahiro Tomiyasu might need to step up in unfamiliar roles. Trossard's role, more than just backup. But Trossard doesn't just offer cover, he offers genuine quality. His ability to play across the front line, as a false nine, out wide, or even in a creative midfield role, gives Arteta the kind of tactical versatility that could be crucial in navigating this period. Let's not forget, Trossard was one of the standout performers last season after joining from Brighton. He provided 10 assists in the second half of the campaign, more than any other Premier League player during that stretch. He seamlessly slotted into Arsenal's fluid attack, often acting as the glue between midfield and frontline. With Gabriel Jesus still managing his fitness, and Edin Nketiah struggling for consistency, don't be surprised if Trossard finds himself starting sooner rather than later, especially with Saka sidelined. Squad rotation on the horizon. The timing of these injuries is also problematic given Arsenal's upcoming schedule. With Champions League group stage games returning, and a League Cup fixture around the corner, Arteta will have to rotate wisely to avoid burnout, and even more injuries. The fixture against Nottingham Forest, although on paper more manageable, comes with its own risks. Forest are physical, disciplined, and dangerous on the counter. Arsenal will need to be sharp, organised, and creative, something they've struggled with when missing key personnel. But with Trossard available, Arteta can begin to experiment again. Perhaps even shift Martinelli centrally, or allow Trossard to tuck inside and combine with Degaard. These are the kind of tactical wrinkles Arsenal have missed without a full squad. Fan reaction and expectations. Among supporters, the mood is cautiously optimistic. Many are rightly worried about the long-term implications of Saliba's injury, but Trossard's return has injected a sense of hope, especially given how anonymous Arsenal's attack looked at times against Liverpool. Across fan forums and social media, there's growing debate over how Arsenal will cope, whether the squad is deep enough, and if the club should have done more in the transfer market to prepare for exactly this scenario. But one thing is clear, players like Trossard now have an opportunity to step forward and shape the narrative. The bigger picture. Injuries can break a season, but they can also define it. Every successful title run faces adversity, and this might be Arsenal's first real test of depth and character in 2025. The hope now is that Trossard's return can spark more than just his own momentum. It can set the tone for a collective response, from the squad, the coaching staff, and even the fans. Because this isn't the first storm Arteta has had to weather, and it won't be the last. But if there's one thing we've learned under his tenure, it's that this Arsenal side doesn't back down easily.